Keikimon, Kakimon, originally from Oaxaca, Osaka, was young, but when his family was in decline and he was alone, he decided to try his luck in the capital Edo, Edo. He is a young man with strong will, so as soon as he thought about it, he did it immediately. So, he left for Edo the next morning. Here he walked for several days around the market and merchants, until he found a job at a wealthy merchant and number 39's shop. Because he was proficient in accounting, knew how to get rid of loot from the house, and was always courteous to customers, he soon won the trust and love of this merchant. Luck smiled at him again. One day, he had to go to his boss and number 39's house because of an emergency. He suddenly saw a strangely beautiful girl walking in the garden among the blooming trees, but the flowers had to fade before her beauty. Keikimon looked at the strange girl in bewilderment, but pitifully, after asking, he found out that she was the only daughter of the boss, a rich merchant, and the boss would never agree to marry her. Daughter for a miserable person like him. Keikimon silently suffered. He stayed away from fun things in the city. His friends invited him to go out after work, but he also refused. On the contrary, he often found excuses to go to his boss and number 39's house, often going to his boss and number 39's house many times a day, to bring news and then receive orders. And each time, he waited at the door to see the beautiful Orain pass by. The girl also noticed the boy, and liked him. Then the young couple went to their correspondence and thought about finding a way to make their strict father accept their love affair. Gathering all his courage, Kakamon decided to go to Oran and number 39's father to ask to marry her. But he met with fierce opposition. When the merchant heard what he said, he got angry and called him an insolent person. He said straight to his face, "What a strange idea, a scoundrel like you knows what day he lives, but why? Dare to marry my daughter? Perhaps you Don and number 39's know that he has been asked to marry by many prestigious clans in this period? Get out of my sight, I Don and number 39's want to see your face anymore." Keikimon was in so much pain, he did not respond to his boss and number 39's bitter words. When the merchant and number 39's anger calmed down a bit, he said more gently, "But surely you understand that I know how to use capable people, so I will ignore your rude words. Mr. can stay and continue working. But now get out of my sight." He ordered him to retreat. As for Oran, when she learned of her father and number 39's harsh decision, she cried uncontrollably, unable to calm down. She cried even more when she learned that her father forbade her to see Keikimon, and forced 2 maids to guard her. As for Keikimon, he was sent far away on a mission, so that the young couple would not have a chance to meet each other. Keikimon takes care of his work and saves every penny. But by doing this, he would never become rich enough for the merchant to accept him as his son-in-law. Oran was so sad that he fell seriously ill. No one can cure her. Every day she became more and more pale and thin, and only wanted to hear about Keikimon. The rich merchant invited many famous doctors, but everyone shrugged and replied, "We accept. This is not a physical illness but a mental illness. If the girl doesn't and #39's heal, the illness will only get worse." In the end, the merchant had to make some concessions. He had only one choice: either lose his daughter or accept Keikimon as his son-in-law. He called Kakeming and said, "You know very well that I Don and number 39 want you to be my son-in-law. But my daughter fell seriously ill and only by marrying her brother could she recover. Unfortunately, your family is very poor, so I asked you this question. You have to organize a wedding like someone marrying a rich daughter. If you Don and number 39 have the ability, then…" He sighed deeply. Kakeming thought for a long time about what he had to do, because he himself feared for Oran and number 39's life. Finally, he figured out a way. He asked for a few days off without specifying where he was going. The boss accepted, but said with skepticism, "We hope that you will take positive measures and not feel sorry for yourself anymore." Kakeming hurriedly went to Osaka. He remembered that on the outskirts of his hometown, there was an abandoned royal castle. This house has not been lived in for many years because people say that the house has. Kakeming is not afraid of ghosts, but even if he is, his determination to marry Oran as his wife has banished all fear from his heart. Arriving in Osaka, he asked permission to meet the king. He said, "Your Majesty, if you give me the castle for a while, I promise you that I will make the house free of ghosts." "Why do you need the castle?" the king asked him in surprise. Kakeming told the king that he needed the house for the wedding. He told the king about the conditions the rich merchant in Edo had proposed. His iron determination made the king happy, so he promised to lend him the castle for a while. But even if there is a wedding, Don and number 39 forget the devil. The king added and laughed. Kakeming returned to Edo and immediately went to meet the rich merchant. He told him, "Even though your daughter belongs to a rich family, she is just a bourgeois. Now I will marry your daughter in a royal castle, are you willing?" "In a royal castle? How did you get into the royal castle?" the rich merchant asked him in surprise. "That and number 39's my job. What is important is that the conditions he proposed were fulfilled. He just needs to take the bride to the royal castle in Osaka. I will wait for your daughter there. This guy will take care of his life." The merchant thought to himself, "It and number 39's certainly not bad, and he doesn't and #39 lack courage either. So you no longer have any reason to hinder the marriage." When Oran knew she would marry Kakeming, her cheeks turned pink, and 2 days later, she ran around the house. At first, the wedding was held jubilantly in Edo, then the bride procession went to Osaka. When they arrived here, it seemed like the wedding ceremony had ended. Kakeming and Oran were left alone together in the abandoned castle. The rafters were rotten and in the garden the wild grass was as tall as a person and number 39's head. Even though they live in a castle, they have to work to eat. So Kakeming went to sell fish. He wanted to make a lot of money, so he had to get up at midnight to go to faraway places. Therefore, from midnight, Oran was alone in the castle. But that and number 39's just the way it is, because while Kakeming doesn't and #39 mind the arduous roads and heavy burdens on his shoulders, to trade to make a living, Oran has to stay home alone in the castle. The two lived happily because fate had brought them together. Kakeming and Oran lived together in the castle for a while without anything happening. Kakeming was so focused on buying and selling that he forgot about the castle being haunted. Oran was the same, she didn't and #39 T think about ghosts anymore and wasn't and #39. T afraid of anything until one night, when Kekimong had just left. 3 monks wearing black robes appeared in front of her. Each person holds in their hand a short candle that radiates bright light. Without making any noise, they walked across the wall into the castle, and then before Oran, they danced around Oran and number 39's bed until morning, their steps slow and stiff. Then, one by one, all 3 approached the mat Oran was lying on, put a finger on her mouth, and told her to keep quiet. All night long, no one uttered a word. Oran courageously and silently attended the monks and number 39's dance. When they disappeared, she sighed in relief. She thought, and quote, "These are probably the ghosts that Kekimong told me about before we got married." It and number 39's obvious that they Don and number 39's want me to tell anyone what happened in the night. There and number 39's no point in saying anything, because Kekimong can hear it, he only makes me more worried, and then I Don and number 39's want to leave me alone in this castle anymore. And I still have to go to the market to buy food. End quote. When Kekimong returned, Oran still greeted her husband happily and served him dinner. Eat, and talk to him until he goes to the fish market again. She didn't and #39 say a word to him about what happened last night. When Kekimong left, she nervously waited to see if the monks would come again. All night long she did not close her eyes, but this time nothing happened. On the 3rd night, Oran saw a light approaching in the distance, then passing through the wall, not entering the castle. End quote. It must be the monks. End quote. Oran thought to himself, and she was surprised to find herself completely relieved. Because if you keep lying awake all night waiting, it will get even worse. The monks quietly approached, this time wearing white robes, each holding a large white candle. They danced quietly around Oran, their steps stiff. Only candlelight shines vivid silhouettes. When dawn broke, the monks came to Oran and number 39's side again, one by one placing their fingers on her mouth as a reminder to be quiet. Then they deformed again. Oran didn't and #39 know where they disappeared to. After 3 nights without sleep, she was so tired that she immediately fell asleep. It wasn't and #39 until she heard Kekimong and #39's laughter that she woke up. It and number 39's 12:00 and number 39's clock in the afternoon, and you and number 39's still sleeping? What happened last night? Frightened, Oran got up to take care of the food. Have you seen how naughty your wife is? While her husband arched his back under the heavy load of fish, she slept. Wednesday night was peaceful again. After midnight, the monks did not come like the previous night. Oran slept soundly until morning. Only on the 5th night did the candle light reappear. The light penetrated the wall. As the light approached, Oran recognized 3 monks wearing yellow robes. Pointed hoods cover half of their faces, and in their hands, each person holds a long yellow candle that radiates mysterious light. The yellow monks danced around Oran and number 39's bed all night, and the next morning they put their fingers on her mouth to tell her to be quiet. Oran wondered if anything would happen on Saturday night. Kekimong had just gone to the market when she saw light on all 4 sides heading towards the castle. From the south, 3 monks dressed in black, holding short black candles were approaching. From the west, 3 monks wearing white robes holding large white candles, and finally, from the east, 3 monks wearing yellow robes are majestically approaching, the light shining brightly. They slowly approached, all eyes looking towards Oran. Then they danced slowly around her bed. Oran wondered if anything would happen tonight, because tonight all the monks were gathered together like this. Suddenly all the yellow monks stopped dancing. They stopped in front of the mat where Oran was sitting. A yellow-robed monk said in a deep voice, "Oran, you are so brave. During the past 7 days, you said nothing and were not afraid to be alone with us. As a reward, I will tell you who we are. Listen here. A long time ago, there was a fierce war that devastated the country. At that time, the ancestors of the current king buried their treasure in this castle. But he died in battle, taking his secret with him to the grave. We have been hiding here for centuries, not helping people and not enjoying the pleasure of our power. We would love to return to humanity, but cannot afford it. Someone must dig it up so we can integrate with humans. But until now, everyone who saw us ran away. No one was as brave as you." Having finished speaking, the black-robed monks approached Oran, led her to the garden, and showed her the old cherry tree, and they disappeared. Then the white-robed monks showed her the threshold of the castle and disappeared again. The last 3 monks, the yellow-robed monks, led Oran into the dome-shaped tunnel, showed her and then disappeared there. After that terrifying night, Oran tried to gather his courage and slept until Kakeming returned. He teased her again, saying that she had begun to get used to sleeping until 12:00 and number 39 o'clock in the afternoon. She then told him what had happened at the castle during the past 7 nights. Then, the two went to find the king to tell him about the ghosts in the castle. The king dug up the places pointed out by the monks. He found the real treasures, in the garden under the tree. Were jars full of copper coins, under the threshold were bags full of money, and in the cellar were jars full of gold coins. The king was very happy to find the treasure left by his ancestors without realizing it. Knowing that, he often praised the courageous Kakeming and Oran with a lot of money. From then on, the rich merchant felt ashamed of his son-in-law. On the contrary, he was happy to have married his daughter to him. Oran often imitates the monks and number 39. Dance for Kakeming to see, and then the two laugh together, happily. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.